So thanks for taking the time to talk to me today. This is pretty cool. I've been getting more into doing a lot of developer interviews, just getting an idea of like projects that are getting made, and trying to introduce people to things that maybe they hadn't been seeing a lot of. I know that recently you guys got a little bit of love from like Jake Lucky,
Yes.
putting something out on Twitter, talking about the trailer that you guys had pretty recently. But why don't we start with this? Why don't you guys introduce yourselves so that these guys get an idea of who you are and what you do?
Sure. So thanks for the invitation first. Sorry for my French accent, and sometimes if the word I use is not a good one, as they were French. It can be a bit weird. I'm the CEO of Deep Worlds. My nickname is Eric Iris, and my name is Eric Rajo. I'm a developer, so mainly I do code, C++ for the project, and I also lead the team of Deep World, who is, I think I said, behind the beautiful lights. And I've got just one question. We just finished from a review from a video and stuff like this. I didn't have time to get dropped. Can we smoke on live? It's allowed?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
okay,
fine.
So let's go casual. And
we don't care.
I'm at home just in case.
He's got a vape, chat. It's not a big deal, right? Like, who cares?
I know it's.
Oh, he's got cigarettes. That's fine too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's whatever. Don't smoke, kids. All right.
Don't smoke. Sorry for this.
It's fine. It's
just
fine.
a busy day, and didn't get a drop. So
yeah, it's fine. No big deal. And then Matt, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah. So basically, I'm the communication and marketing officer at Deep Worlds. So for the game also. So yeah, I do community stuff. I interact with content creators like you, and but I also do some UI for the game, and just recently started to work in engine as well. So it's a bit. It's very exciting for me these days. But yeah, so I do
you guys have been
communication and marketing, but also many other things.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have been ramping up your internet presence a bit in the last, month or so too. I've noticed.
Yeah,
you've been putting out a little bit more media recently.
Yeah, exactly. Because so this is the thing we do usually is when we have a big milestone, a patch ready, we want people to try and validate what we do. So yeah, we communicate a bit more about what the patch contains and what people will be able to play on the little playtests we do on our Discord.
Mm-hmm. So for this project, for Beautiful Light, a lot of people, even though you've gotten some I guess media out there pretty recently in a bit of hype, there's a lot of people that don't really know what it is that you're making. So it's becoming more and more popular as time goes on, obviously. But for my audience and anybody else that might come across the interview, would you mind kind of giving people a brief explanation on what your project is, maybe for people that haven't heard of it before?
Yeah, of course. So we can say Beautiful Light is an extraction shooter. So it's a bit common from bit common genre actually, where the goal is you go on a map. If you die, you lose your equipment you have on you. If you survive, you extract with more money and stuff like this and more experiences. And if you kill another player, you can grab the loot of the player. So this is the core concept of extraction shooter. It's like some people say it's a bit like a battle royale, but in Valve version, as you have what we call the gear fear, with the fear to lose your gears. Mm-hmm. There is two kind of extraction shooters. There is one with loot based. So this is 99% of extraction shooter. Tarkov.
Loot-based games. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it's where a loot-based extraction shooter is where you go on the map and you need to find an item, make quests and stuff like this, and then you can extract. The goal is to have the maximum of money by rustling what you got, basically. Us, we have a different approach. We have the same Unshowdown approach with objective-based. That means that you don't have a loot on the map. You don't go find in shelf or stuff like this. There is one objective with the same for every players. So the incentive of this is to have much more PvP per game than you can have on Tarkov. It's kinda avoid a bit. I say a bit. a rat behavior. What we call rat behavior is people who is camping and just waiting and stuff like this. So this is a very global definition of Beautiful Light when we try to express the game, because the fact is Beautiful Light have a lot of new concepts incoming for this thing, and so we try to be a third way, not like a Escape from Tarkov clone, not a Unshadowed clone, but a third type of game. I don't know we will succeed. This is something we will see with time, because this is very complex and balancing and stuff like this. Because one of the big elements we bring to the game is you have also in Tarkov you have scav. So a scav is like predefined gears characters. With low gear you can join in a run, but it's free. So if you die, it's not a big issue, and you can bring. In the Beautiful Light, we have the same concept, but you can play a monster. What we call we have a name for this. It's Anomaly. And when you play an Anomaly, so you can include gears in Beautiful Light with Anomaly, but you can convert the experience you win as Anomaly to the PMC back. And so this is like one of the big key for the game, and the key features. And
So it's this player versus player aspect where you have guys that are running around with like, you know, full kit and guns and M4s and that kind of thing. And then you have another versus player aspect where you have people that can play as the anomalies, right?
Absolutely.
And then you're running around hunting all the people that have the guns. And then you have obviously like the environmental aspect, right? You have other like lesser grade like anomalies that are kind of like walking around almost like zombie-ish, if you want to put it that way.
We hate.
Yeah, I know you don't like the zombie thing. It's not really that close. And you have like different grades, right?
We have different PvE monsters. So for the name, the lexic in Beautiful Light says A NPC, anomaly non-player controllable.
NPCs,
and APC and no NPCs, A NPCs.
Okay.
Anomaly non-player controller, and we have APC, anomaly player controller. So this is two different kind of monsters. You can find, for example, the Juggernaut, who can be controlled by the players. You can find it controlled by the computer, basically.
Okay.
So it's two different things. But yeah, this on the map. We have also what we call echoes. So echoes is like environmental anomalies. You see them in Stalker, for example. The name in Stalker for this is Anomaly. I know it's a bit a patchwork of word, but this is one of the biggest issue on this project is to explain all the elements with around it, because there is a lot.
Right. And there are a lot of interesting elements in the game too that like where you're combining ideas from a whole lot of different places. Right, like there's like a little bit of Tarkov, there's a little bit of Stalker, there's a little bit of GTFO even in there, because you have like you know the game loop with the computer terminals, and you know, and then there was a tweet that got put out by somebody that I saw like maybe a week ago, where if you understand how to code a little bit, there are things that you can do with those computer terminals and like mess with other players, even if you know how to code, that I didn't even realize you had like in the game. There was something that you could do. So like maybe you can explain like how the computer terminals come in.
It's not really code. It's more like a server administration or shell.
I don't know how to do any of that. So all of this is like, you know, it's like wizardry to me.
It's like, you know, you probably already see a Windows terminal, a command line in Windows. So this is a bit the same. You have a lot of commands with give you a lot of different thing to do. And if you know not Windows commands, but Linux commands, which is very common for system administrator, there's a lot of things you can do in addition. It's a part of the game. It's the hacking part of the game, but there is a other side of the game. So if you don't know Linux command shell or something like this, it's not an issue. But yeah, we try to. I know sometimes people are like, "Oh no, the game is trying to learn me something." Hell, please. But we try to be close to the reality. It's not one-to-one, like we have simplified command and stuff like this, but you have, for example, the ability to know if there's other players in your area, if you know the command and stuff like this.
So you can, so if you understand like a little bit of Linux, you can through those command prompts mess with other players and like, you know, like kind of hijack their heads up displays and, you know, stuff like that.
Yes, it's not actually in the game. We don't want to make we want to be sure this is in the game before promise it. But for the moment, so you have the full terminal system. You can create folder files. You can uncrypt file and stuff like this. You can know if there's a player on you. But yes, the end goal for the system is to be able to mess with other players. But there is also quests and stuff like this. And for the future map, we try to have more challenge. One really cool thing we want to have is like if you are stuck on a quest who is involving hacking, is like you go on the main chat of the game and you can someone know how to do, and you bring in into the raids and you have your hackers, who gonna do the quest for you.
Interesting. So you could have somebody that understands the language that you could bring in with you specifically for like you need a specialist that can hack away or whatever. That's cool. I dig that.
Having like being beautiful light and being specialized in it is something I would find very cool. But after it's not so complex because when we speak like this, people can imagine, well, you need a master degrees.
Yeah, right.
No, it's still gamified, so it's still much more simple than in reality. But if you know Linux, you will instantly know how it works. And
that's pretty cool.
To be honest, it's it's completely different, but you could potentially compare it to someone knowing the keys numbers that open which room in Tarkov, for example. This is the knowledge that you can easily get by people that already played the game,
Right.
So if you know Linux and that kind of stuff, you have an advantage at the beginning, but it's just something that you pick up.
Right. Eventually, it would all be on a wiki somewhere anyway, right? So
yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. After we tried to the way we want to design quests, but one more time the release is planned for end of 2025. And so we don't have so much time for content. For the moment, the foundation of the game is here.
Sure.
And now we need to work on the content and to have enough content for early access.
Right.
And there's a lot of things we want to do, but a small window's time. But yeah, one of the things will be very cool is to just not follow the wiki dumbly, like write this command, write this command, write this command.
Right.
But command is like showing, okay, if you want to look for this, you need to write this command. Then you're gonna look for the information and then etc. And this is the kind of thing we want for hacking, even if it's not hacking. If there's a hacker here, it will be mad. But yeah. And but there's a lot of things we want to do like this into the game. It's just a bit hard, to be honest, because we need to not lose people who never do coding in their life, but still getting fun for people who already did code and stuff, and having making it fun basically.
Right.
And just to answer to a question to the chat, someone asked if it's like GTFO computer. Yes, but in much more depth than GTFO. Same concept. Yes, it's literally the inspiration for it.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool concept. I like the idea of that a lot. I think it'll be pretty fun. Okay, so people obviously wonder about like background stuff for the game. So where's the game set? What happened that made this stuff like what it is? And could you give us an idea of like what the background lore is for the game?
So usually we don't.
Oh, usually you don't. Okay, all right.
Yes, we don't. There is a video from Recoil, if you know him.
I don't. But
okay, so
that's nothing new. I don't really get around much when it comes to
so there's a YouTuber, so concurrency, but there's a YouTuber who made a video specific about the lore, and this is probably the best resource you can have. But we don't want to share the lore for one good reason. We want people to explore the lore by themselves.
Okay.
I can give you the setting. The game is happening in 2036. It's not futuristic. There's no future rifle or stuff like this. There's no laser. It's all grounded equipment. It's a post-apocalyptic world, and what we can say is people, if you already see Final Fantasy spirit creatures with an old movie, this is kind of the same concept. Like people is living in cities with surrounded by walls. Or Attack on Titan is a very good example.
Attack on Titan, yeah. The city surrounded by walls.
Yeah, and for the setting, it's all around the walls. So, for example, the first map is happening in Poland, near Mont Giewont, for people who know. It's a big mountain in Poland. The second map will be in Antarctica, near old Russian cities who was here for mining, but I don't remember the name.
I didn't even know you were making an Antarctica map. That's awesome.
That's the second one, yes.
That's cool.
And one thing also for the game is we speak about collecting maybe the common objective for the first map is collecting an artifact. There is only one.
Right.
But we know this is a game loop who will be a bit like annoying on repetition. Like if you do it again and again and again and again, at a moment it will be boring. So this map is more like an introduction map. We keep it like this because when we did the playtest, the fact you start outside and you need to go to a bunker and you have this whole environment change and swap makes the atmosphere very strong and people love it. And when we change it, people hate it. So we keep it, but it brings this a little challenge to make a game loop very different from each map. So you can have different gameplay every time. And for example, the second map, what we want, for the moment we are building it, so maybe we're gonna change the ID, but what we want for the second map is, it's not a map where you collect the artifact, but in fact a map where you bring an artifact with you, and you can double or triple it in the center of the map. And then you escape and you sell it for the triple the price. But you can go on the map without any artifact and try to just being a pirate, basically, catching other player who bring one and stuff like this. So it's like a double game. I love things like this with very frustrating if you die.
And then obviously you still have the anomalies hunting everyone too. So
of course,
cool.
So, and for the third map, it will be a different game loop and extra. For the third map, maybe there's not even an artifact in the thing, but we try to change every time. But this is a challenge. So there's a lot of things to this game who is very ambitious. And this is the main thing we need to face, basically, is to achieve to do all those things good and fun.
Yeah, I I didn't even know you were making an Antarctica map. That's pretty cool. Things that I find out, even things that I'm learning. Okay. One of the big questions that people obviously have is if there's going to be a play test anytime soon, if they can try it, if they can play it. Are there dates that you could share at this point in time? If not, that's okay. And actually, I think I'll ask you that because I have a follow-up too. But.
Yes. So for the dates, I will communicate about it very, very soon. But so expect community playtests for community members, so people that are not content creators. Expect it this month, and for content creators, it will be at the end of this month and start of next month. So if you are a regular player per se, you can join our Discord and we will host playtests. Just one thing to keep in mind is that the playtests we host are very small. So it's basically we host one match, so 21 players, and we try to get as much feedback as possible from this specific playtest. This is a pre-alpha playtest. We are completely in development. It's not something for marketing, even though we use a little bit for marketing because obviously we want people to know the game. But this is really a playtest for us to get feedback from the community and from content creators. We are building the game with you. This is the philosophy. Yeah.
Okay. So announcement for when the playtest will happen will be soon.
Yes.
Will be soon. But as I said, there's not a lot of change. I'm sorry, guys, that you get in. Like there's not a lot of people who is selected for the playtest. It's random for people from the community. But we one thing we really try to have as soon as possible is to have large playtests with 1,000, 10,000 people. And this is set in the roadmap for the end of the year. It will be a bit short for this because I don't think there's a lot of interest to play to the game until the quest system is done. Like it's fun for actually right now. The game is fun on PvP. We believe it. It's fun for playing the Anomaly. It's fun for making the game loop. But for 3-4 hours after you did 3-4 hours, there's not quest, there's no progression, stuff like this. So it's also one reason I see why people is asking why we don't release the game right now and stuff like this. It's because for the moment it's not fun for a long time. And this is all the content we are working this year. So this is the last years of development. It's to add content. And so it will be fun for 20, 30, 100 hours of content.
Yeah, I agree with that. People want progression for sure. So,
yes. There is one... Yes, sorry?
No, go ahead. You had finish your thought.
There is one word. So for the month, we given the date for 2025. The game is self-funded for people who ask. There is no publisher behind it. But we are still looking with publishers. So we are in negotiation. If we found a publisher, it's probably to expand the development time from 1 year 1 more years. That doesn't mean playtest will be delayed or something like this. And I know as saying this that people will be mad for on Discord and stuff like this. Like you are delaying the project one more time. But if we are doing this, it's to have enough content for the game. Like we know we enter on the market, there is Tarkov on one side, and Showdown on one side, they have massive content. And if we don't want to be a game for 1 month or 2 months and keep alive on the duration, we need to have enough content for the player to don't be annoyed after 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
and I agree with that. I completely agree with that, because one of the problems that happens in this genre especially is people have like their core game loop, but then the stuff to do or the challenge of accomplishing those things ends up either being very, very quick or too easy, and then people lose interest because it becomes very repetitive, and then doesn't feel fun anymore. So I completely agree with that. Yeah.
And this is a really hard thing. This is like the right balance to find. So if we don't go for a publisher, it will release on early access at the end of 2025. But then if we do this, there is a risk like content is not enough. So it's what we try to communicate to players, like, yeah, I know you want the game as soon as possible, but if you let 1 more years, and if we have the fund for 1 more years, it will be much, much funner for people, and it will be a game that you can play on duration without risk of getting out of content too soon. So
yeah, I agree.
It's complex balance.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of being an extraction shooter, like you said, if people die, they're lootable and that kind of thing. So how do you envision the in-game economy working with having this objective-based like goal on each map?
There's no flea market, first of all.
Okay.
And if you meet and Showdown on the start, this is the same core game loop, same economy system. That means that the weapon price, the good weapon price, is pretty high, much higher than on Tarkov and stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And so to be always on the end gear, you need to basically be very good at the game. There is a much more. So the thing we try to avoid is exactly like in Escape from Tarkov, and why they have wipe is because it's too easy to get rich.
Yes.
Especially because of the free markets. And so it's very easy to be on the top. And once you reach 1 million or 2 million on Tarkov, you will never be poor again. And if you reach 8 million, you are Elon Musk, basically, because after it's road to 20, 30, I think I finish a ride with 250k. You never fear for your gear anymore. This is something we try to avoid at all costs. And so the curve for the item price need to be, it will be adjusted, but it need to be very high, Mm-hmm. Like entry price is very low, but a very high item is very, very costly. This is what we try to study for the moment, but for we try to be honest. We have no clue it will work, so we need to do playtests for it with the community, see how it reacts with the economy, and then we adjust. And if it's not working, find another solution. But something we tend to avoid also is to having wipe. We don't like this. We understand them on Tarkov, like it's necessary for the fun, but we try to avoid this. And on Showdown, mastering it. But they have a different system, with when you have hunters and they can die like permanently. So it's a bit different, but we try to take inspiration from Showdown on this part.
Okay. And then in terms of the playtest, are you going to be doing like a sign up when you announce it? People would go and then sign up for like a chance to be in it?
This is the guy on my right who answer to this.
Basically, I just put a Google form for people to fill, and I take a random number. I take random numbers in this file, and I ping people on the Discord to say, hey, you've got selected, randomly selected, and you can play for at this time for 3 hours, and are you able to play?
So the best place to do that, to sign up for this, to fill out the Google form, would obviously be to go to your Discord then, like the official one?
That's right. You just need to wait for an announcement from me, and I will tell everything you need to know to be able to playtest.
Okay.
At least get a chance to playtest.
One thing we promise for everybody, you will be able to test the game before the release at least one time. Like there's no matter what happened before the release, we will have a public playtest with unlimited key, and so everybody will be able to play the test because we are not a free-to-play game. For the month, the price it's set to 49 in France, if I'm correct. Mata?
40.
40. Sorry,
$40.
Yeah, I'm bad on numbers, but 40 euros.
40 euros. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an early access, so it's also an investment.
Okay.
This is a UE5 game, so performance is like UE5. it costs a lot. It necessitates good gears, and so we want everybody to be able to be sure that the game fits to what they want, to what they are looking, and if it works on their computers. So the playtest will be there's a big open playtest. Everybody will be able to play it, and so you will decide if it works or not. I think this is the best proof of honesty we can give. You know, you will see by yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, the last time I played this was probably 8 or 9 months ago, and I thought it was great. I thought it was great then. It was really fun experience. I actually got out with the artifact, but this was before you changed the whole map around with like how the lab worked and everything. Like it was before that. So, but I actually got the artifact myself and actually walked it out and killed like 2 squads on the way to the helicopter. So it was a pretty good game round. I was like, I did pretty good, you know. And it was the only one I had time for, but it was a good run.
Thank you, but it's surprising. In fact, the first playtest was super well acclaimed by people.
Yeah.
Like I think we got maybe something like 5 people who complain about it, who say no, this is not a game for me.
Yeah.
On I don't know, 500 people. I don't know. Mata maybe have the number.
Something like this.
Yeah.
But something like this. So it was like okay, because it was a prototype. It was ugly. There's a lot of things who was very sorry, I cannot say it as a French, but fruits, you know, like hard, barbon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now we have much more polished game on managing on the game, on the graphical, on the feeling for the players. We have reworked basically the wall movement for the characters to have something very smooth, stable for the foundation. The game is much more stable. It runs much well. And so now, if you like what we see before, we hope like it's 5 times better than the before version. And we hope something like this. You know, I'm throwing numbers who doesn't make sense, but you got the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Like if you like what you've seen before, we really hope that we put a lot of work into this patch. And I think players will be like, because the other version for me was boring, and the new one it starts to be good.
Okay.
It starts. There's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that like you're as critical of your project as you are, because a lot of people tend to be like, well, this is my baby, it's perfect. And in your case, you're like, nah, I'm getting bored, so we got to change something. So I like that. I like that.
Because people have the thing of the when they play to the game, they play to something new, and so they don't see many of the issue. But we as developer, we work on this project since 4 years for the moment.
Yeah.
So every day. I don't have weekend, I don't have things like this. So we see the game exactly how it is. We know also for the moment the game loop is not without the quest, without all those things, it's not fun enough. It really is it. So we are not blind, and we also. This is something with this project. We try to be creative and we try to don't be like others, like to offer new experiences. But it brings new challenge, because when you just copycat another game, it's easy. Like it's working. This game mechanic is working and stuff like this. And so a lot of the work we are doing it's why we are doing a lot of playtests also. Is like we try something, we test, okay, it's fun, we keep it, it's not fun, we throw it, and there's a lot of back and forth like this.
Sure.
And we try to be also transparent. This is one of the key things of Deep Worlds. We want since the start like to be totally transparent, because we think this is important to share the vision of the game. People who are gonna buy Beautiful Light, if we release it in early access, like how it's planned for the moment, they will buy an unfinished game. Like it's important for people to know it's like early access means this is not finished.
Right. And
so this is an investment for the future. But a lot of people doesn't. They know it, but they doesn't realize it. Like they buy an early access game and they're like, well, the product is not finished. And we think that this is a lot about communication. Like actually, game try to sell you the fact that I finished on early access. This is not true.
Right.
And so we think we need to say no, it's not finished. When you buy the game on early access, it's like an investment. Like it's because we don't have the funding to have 5 years development more, and so we need funding now. And so we sell it because we need this funding to finish the game and to offer the 1.0.
Right.
And this is something we need to change in the industry, to be honest.
Yes.
Is the vision of the early access.
Yeah. I think people get jaded about the idea of early access because there's been a history of a lot of projects that end up being almost abandonware, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to find devs that seem like they're dedicated and actually are trying to make something of quality, which in your case, I feel as though, and this is part of the interview process, right? Is people getting to know you guys and like what you're about and what you're trying to accomplish so that they can, get an idea of what you're trying to make and think, all right, well, maybe that's something I want to buy, right?
Yeah. And this is the idea. If you are honest with people and you are pinpointing the issue, not lying to them, they are much more willing to understand why this is in this state, why, extra. And so this is very important. And also on the other part, what we try to make to people to understand, making a game costs a lot of money. If we throw the numbers, it's about millions for making a game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For Beautiful Light, usually the budget is around $20-30 million, maybe more. So in some case, maybe much more in some case, GTA. But this is a lot of money, and we are self-funded. Yeah. So the budget is much more lower, and the team is much lower than this. And so this is also the thing. Right now, with the early access, people think it takes 3 years to make a game or something like this, 4 years sometimes.
Yeah.
When before early access time, it was 6 to 7 to 8 years to make a game.
Right.
Sometimes, sometimes less. It depends on the game you are doing, of course. But yeah, 8 years for the game is not unrealistic in some cases. And early access allows this for independent developers. Like you cannot found a game for 8 years when you are an independent, but you can found 4 years and put the game in 4 years in early access to finish it. So this is the thing we try to make people understand.
Yeah. And I think as long as there's progress and people see that progress is actually being made, then I think you're good. Because there's a lot of great titles. I mean, like, Risk of Rain 2, Oxygen Not Included is a huge one that was in early access for years and did great.
Tarkov.
Tarkov, although, you have plenty of people that say Tarkov's garbage. But whatever. It's still a successful project, and they did a killing. Like they make millions every year. Astroneer is a fantastic game that was in early access for a number of years and has only gotten better over time, right? So there's a lot of good examples. It's just a matter of seeing that constant dev progress, I think, is what people want. But
absolutely.
That's why we do all the leaks and the shares we do, is that so people can see exactly where we are, what we are doing at this right moment. And if this is interesting to you, then you will most likely like what we will have next. So it's
and I've played it, and even before when the game wasn't anywhere close to what it is now, I had a blast. And I DM'd you not just a few days ago, Matt, and saying that I wanted to get in there and play it now that you guys are 8 months further ahead than what you were before, because all the new atmospherics and stuff, like the teaser images look freaking amazing. So I just want to walk around and like see things, But anyway, on to back to the question. So in regard to like the actual gameplay loop, just so that like I already know the answers to some of these, but I know a lot of people don't. So what is your ideal squad size first?
Like three
people. So three player squads. Can you play solo if you want to?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Will there be like an auto-fill option for parties?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's auto-fill, and there's solo and duo matchmaking, and third matchmaking.
So you're going to have solo, duo, and like tournament-style matchmaking?
Yes. And if you go solo duo, you can face only solo and duo players. If you go quick queue matchmaking, you can face trick you matchmaking, but also solo and duo. People like you have a check, exactly like Hunt. Basically, you have a checkbox like.
But if I wanted the extra challenge and I wanted to go into like the 3-player map by myself, I can do that.
Yes, you have a checkbox trio basically, and even as solo, you can go in the trio matchmaking.
Okay.
So yes, streamers can have the stream at moments, and
sure.
Why not? Like we know. I mean, like Ant, a lot of streamers is doing it like 1 versus 3, and it's
Yeah, you gotta try for it. Okay, and then will there be friendly fire? Can you kill your teammates?
You can totally kill your teammates.
Okay.
And it's happening.
Well, all right. So obviously, there's a follow-up question for this with like griefing, like people that would autofill parties and then just kill their teammates. Will there be a system in place for something like that to try and prevent those things from happening, or is it kind of just free for all?
So this is something which maybe not ready for the early access, but this is what we want to do with faction system.
Okay.
And in our faction system, we want like it's faction grades. Like you can be captain, a general, stuff like this in your faction. And more you go high in the grades, more you have access from your faction help.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like there is some specific action. I will not go too far into this because we don't know for the moment the faction system will be ever here one day in the way we want to, because we really want a true faction system, not like beers and you suck and you can still shooting beers. We want if there is you meet the people from the same faction, you can, but you should not shoot them, and so you will lower your reputation if you do the same for griefing, and it will be very fast. And if you just grief people, you will be just kicked out of faction and go back to the base faction who is mercenary.
Okay.
Mercenary is simple. Mercenary have no constraint to shooting people. It's like a faction who can shoot on everybody.
So you're just factionless.
Yes, it's like factionless, but it's not. It's still a faction.
Okay.
So this is the idea we have, but we don't know if it will. It will be not ready for the early access. We know this, and we don't know if it will be fun. So we need to test it. We will try to bring it soon after the early access. Like if it's going well, 5 months. I'm giving a date. There's something on my Discord and on my Twitter. If I give a date, don't trust me. It's right on my Twitter. So
we've kind of learned that already anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the guys, like you were referencing Tarkov a lot. Tarkov hasn't made a target date even with a 2-week lead time most cases. So that's fine.
We can speak about this. Why it's happening for video games?
Yeah, I mean, like it's just, like there's things come up, bugs happen. You guys end up having issues that push back timelines. Like we all understand that stuff happens. It's just kind of like this running joke where like, oh yeah, they're late again.
It's very hard. It's like you think you will be able to do it. You have sure, and it's 20 years you are making development games, so you know your shit.
Yeah, right.
You are still late in your thing always. So even if we try to add additional time for what we think, it doesn't work.
Right.
It's like a common constant. Like you need to be late in video games.
Okay. So for the actual rounds, you said that there's 21 players on the map. So is that 21 players in like shooting squads, or is that 21 players including the anomalies?
So it's actually 24 for the first map. I said 21 because there are 21 players in the playtest, and we have 3 slots for devs. It's for the first map. It's up to 24 PMC, so humans.
Okay.
But there could also be 1 anomaly, maybe 2. The number of anomalies will depend on the balance of the specific anomaly. So let's say this is an anomaly that is very hard to beat because it's more endgame. There could potentially be only 1 at any given time. So when you are an anomaly, so for now it will be at the start of the match, but with proper matchmaking, the anomaly will invade the match. So maybe you start the first 5 minutes without any anomalies, and then they start to invade the match. So it can be 1, and maybe depending on the anomaly types we will have on specific maps, it can be 2 or 3. Yeah, this will probably change depending on the balance of anomalies.
Okay.
And one thing also to understand, it's very important. Anomaly will be stronger than PMC. It's on purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of like how Evolve worked, where they kind of hunted.
Yes. So, but the difference is, I think in Evolve I didn't play Evolve, but in Evolve you track the anomaly. Here the anomaly tracks you.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, exactly.
You have the food, and this is the feeling we want. We want you to have this feeling that there is a predator on me. And this is an extraction shooter, so this is the thing.
Will the anomaly have its own progression system?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So you could have somebody that wants to like main run anomalies, and like that's what they want to do.
The goal, and also adding to the economy of the game, and also for quest. Also, the thing is you can scavenge anomalies played by computers, or anomaly for the players. And anomaly for the players, more they are processed, more the value of the thing you scavenge have, like if you cut the head or something like this and the anomaly is level 10, I don't know, it will bring much more money, but it will be much harder to kill also.
Okay.
And for the moment, the thing we have in mind for the anomaly progression system, it's not done at all, is to have like a roguelike progression system for anomalies. Like you don't choose exactly the perk you're gonna have. It's like you choose every time between 3 perks random, you know? And if you have luck, you have this kind of perks and stuff like this. And so it should make every run as anomaly. And when I speak about a run, I speak about anomaly live, not like joining a match. It should be different because of the perks you can or you don't. We think about this, same thing, we need to test it for the month, it's not ready, it will be probably one of the last thing we will do for the early access, for the anomaly system, because we need to focus on the PMC side first.
Sure.
Because, well, we need to have PMC into the game. If there's no PMC, there's no anomaly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The anomaly thing is just hitting players, so it need to be PMC first, yeah.
Okay. And what do you guys figure is the typical like match length? 45 minutes, 60 minutes?
So for the month, Ground Zero is 45 minutes.
45.
It's subject to change with the playtest, but we are happy with 45 minutes for the month. It's sometimes short, sometimes not. So this is a good balance. It can be, you can accept some map to be 60 minutes or some map. I don't think it will be less than 35, 40 minutes, yes.
Okay. And then in terms of like gearing and that kind of thing, obviously there's going to be like more beginner stuff and then you progress through. When I played it, it was, you had like an M4 with like an EOTech XPS red dot on it, and a laser, I think was on there too. Yeah. Just like kind of a basic loadout. As your development completes, you move into early access. Are there going to be like a lot of different weapon systems, or is there going to be weapon modding? Are there going to be like different armor types? Like how do you envision that's going to work?
So you have basically you unlock stuff. You unlock to buy stuff by doing quests. Mm-hmm. So quite regular, sorry. And then you can go to the trader and buy them. For the weapon, you have a weapon tier system. So for the same weapon, like for the MP5, you have the MP5 factory. Then you have the let's take the PP19 because it's done. You have the PP19 factories, you have the PP19 RS, who has a different base modding. So it's like the cross and the pistol grip with difference. Okay. And then you have the PP19 Sparta, who is fit with a railguard with 4 slots for device, thing like this. And so this is thing you cannot change. Like the base of the game, you cannot change. You choose a tier, and the tier allow you to fit more stuff. It can be some different statistic, but it's not unrealistic. Like it's it can be, but not like it's not likely 20% damage more, I think right. It's like yeah.
Will there be different ammo types as well?
No. Ammo will be the same. For
just going to be base gun system or whatever the gun system is.
It's tied to the magazine, in fact.
Okay.
Like you don't buy ammo at all in the game, like never. Okay. When you go into the reds, all of your magazine is loaded up, and so if you bring 5 magazines, they will be all loaded at maximum. Okay. And if you drop one in reds and you come back, the magazine is lost, for example. And you have the possibility to refile ammo on some ammo crate into the map.
Okay.
If needed. But like,
so you can kind of reload from ammo crates like you do in like Hunt Showdown, for instance.
Yes. And if you have a weapon who shares the same type of magazine, you can give the magazine to another people.
Okay.
But you never manage a bullet inside. It's a fun system in Tarkov. I don't make me lie.
So you have to have a little bit more ammo management in this game. I'm saying like ammo is more finite in this game versus like bringing like 2 or 3 stacks of ammo in a gamma container and being able to like hand feed ammo back into a mag.
You cannot bring stack of ammo.
Right.
Ammo is virtual in this game, like bullets is virtual. So this is it. And so after on the weapon you can mod, but it's not deep as Tarkov, like not close at all. You can choose the sight on it and where you place it on the fore position or back position. Okay. You can have the weapon grip, laser. There is some tactical device. Magazine, of course, there's different kind of magazine, and of course the muzzle, silencer, compensator, flash aider, all of those things.
And you recently added a day-night cycle, right? That's coming right now.
Yeah, it's called Atmostorm. It's not a day-night cycle. It's not cycling. Like you cannot start the map and finish on the night. Okay. We choose this on purpose because the game duration is 45 minutes, and making the sun like looping is like a lot of performance cost, and also it's very hard to have an artistic vision exactly how we want for each wither time. Right. When you have a dynamic system, And so basically we have Atmos Storm, the wizard system we built for the game. You choose internally like the hours and the setting for the time, and it runs the scenario. It can evolve, like the rain can go to every rain, but it can't, like the sun will not moving, the moon is not moving, it's static. But yes, you have a lot of different wizard setup.
Okay.
It's more wizard system than the day and night cycle. But you have night also into the game. Don't make me lie. You have one thing with clear night, when you can see without night vision. For military guys, this is like night level 5,
Right.
night condition 5 or 1, I don't remember in which sense. And and you have also the other thing like night who is fully dark, where even night vision is hard and you need
like it's overcast and you need NVGs because it's so dark. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
So there's this different kind, but also everybody now, because in game you can just go in Windows and chrome the gamma. So we try to have a lot of different intensity of scenario to disgust the player to doing this, but it will happen.
And like in Rust, they ended up just alpha channeling in like the darkness so that it didn't matter if you turned up the gamma or not; it was just dark. And then if you put on nods, then you could see if you had a torch. Yeah, if you had a torch. Yeah, and Rust actually did it pretty ingenious. Like it didn't matter if you ended up turning up the gamma; it just stayed dark because they alpha channeled in the darkness. It was pretty smart. Anyway, okay, so I really only had like another question or two. Will there be different like anomaly types? I think you had alluded to there being like different ones. So there's going to be like more entry level, and then there'll be like bigger and stronger ones.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You need to fulfish your anomaly, like finish it, then you can go to a superior anomaly with the same anomaly live. For the early access, we want to have 2 anomalies. It's not a lot, but it's like a lot of time to make. And for future, we want to have way more.
And will they have like on use, like with a game like Evolve or let's see, there was I can't think of the name of the zombie game where you could play. You could play as like the zombie hunter. They had like on use abilities where they would like send out like a ping almost, and you could kind of like see like a red outline of like where they were and like their heartbeat. You could hear it. And
if you have some kind of ability like this, but it really depends. For example, like the Juggernaut right now have an ability to send a poison to the close distance will slow you down.
Okay.
You have also traps. It's like on the tile you have some nails, and you can go on the floor and it make traps, and if you go inside you are root to the floor.
Rooted. Okay.
All the anomaly have a scream, and the scream up your earth bit, and more your earth bit is high, more they can see you. Before we was thinking about red outline, and now we probably want more a directional system who indicate where a player can be, because we want. I would like player to be able to hide from anomaly, basically, and hiding from something who is stronger than you is a viable strategy, and even your first go-to, especially if you are alone, because we need to also to think to players who are alone. If they just meet the Juggernaut into the plane, it's like a dead, dead, basically.
Yeah.
And so we want that at least if they hide in somewhere and the Juggernaut don't see us, they can be alive. And so there is also, for example, we probably gonna add a system when you play at 3 squads. You will be much visible for the anomaly at a distance than a solo players.
Okay, so they'll just have like better vision over distances. Okay,
but we try to avoid Wallach. I try to avoid Wallach because I hate this mechanic in video games.
Yeah.
Like except in Unshowdown, they did a smart thing, but in other, like I hate every time I see Wallach in a video game. I'm like, no, it's stupid.
Yeah. Giving people walls is kind of annoying sometimes. Yeah.
Even the point system of Rainbow Six Siege, I found it like, no, please don't do this.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to look and see if the comments had any. Hold on.
Maybe the chat have some questions.
Yeah, chat. If you guys got anything that you want answered, let me know. I'm gonna pull up. I put up a community post to see if anybody had any questions. Let's see.
Spray pattern, Iris.
Originally, we want to have a spray pattern like a fixed one, a bit like you can find in Counter-Strike. And with the test, we are slowly evolving for something with much more random. This is only the up forces, like z-axis, who is fixed for the moment. And the jump from right to left is like for the moment random. It's the actual system we have, but we are still working on it. We think the actual Recoil is something who we are happy with it right now. Same for the shooting sensation, but we want the playtest to confirm with a lot more players if it's fun or not.
Road to Vostok, which another great game that's in development.
Yeah.
He says that you have the best Spotify playlist in the industry on Twitch. I highly recommend listening to his development stream just for the sake of music.
Thank you.
Devs loving devs right now. I like this. This is good.
In fact, in Milsim, there's a lot of Dovlev. I mean, we are very friendship also with Grays on Warfare.
Yeah,
we share a lot
yeah.
with
The
them.
guys at Gray Zone are great too. The community guy, Rick, he lives like 5 minutes from my house. And go have a beer with him anytime I want. He's a great dude.
And Sam Road to Vostok. I mean, all this we are proud to have some allies in a game studio, like Ryzen, Road to Vostok, in game like this. It's like super nice to have some developer who shares the same mindset, who is not in competition. It's like I think the mindset between all these studios is like, we hope we everybody will make it, and not like we try to steal your community, we try to steal our thing, and stuff.
And that's how like gamers think too. They think that like, oh, this game's gonna kill this other game, this game's gonna kill that game, and it's like you guys are all like, yo, I like what you're doing. Oh, I like what you're doing. Like, you guys are all friends. Like, people don't realize it. Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah, it's very important. And we don't want to kill anyone, except one game in specific. I will not talk about it because we have one issue with one game developer who are very terrible with us. But
we know.
fine.
I won't say anything either. We know what that game is. But
oh, you can name the rap if you want. I don't want to be too much public on this side because I don't want to make a drama.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We don't like them.
Sometimes people like to rip off content of other people, and they're not nice about it.
Aspiration is okay. It's what we try to do. To say. We also have. I mean, Beautiful Light is heavily inspired from Stalker, from Tarkov, and this is a game we loved. We don't want to hurt them at all.
Yeah.
But there is other game who just copycat, and this is not a good thing. Like it's just killing the industries. It doesn't bring anything to the players. It doesn't add value. I see some people saying this is just like capitalism. How we say concurrency, And so the client will be no, because it's just killing game. It doesn't good for the industry. But never mind. Let's not. I will not start a drama on here.
No, so it's all good. It's all good.
About
so ongoing. Yeah, the question was ongoing, right? Like you have your early access and you have your price point for early access for buying into the game initially. Obviously, your game is a live service game because you have more maps and like the live servers that are going to be joined all the time by players. So for the long run, what are your plans on monetizing like the game after the initial purchase? Is it going to be like cosmetic skins?
Exactly.
I think mainly what people are trying to make sure doesn't happen is what some other extraction games recently have started doing, where they're like selling currency and that kind of thing. So
I know. I will let Matavatar explain, but I will just say something we can promise we will not change for a simple reason. We are costly.
Sure.
Like for the players, I will let Matavatar explain, but we will not change. I think we are fine on the model.
So the base price for the game will be 40 euros or dollars, but the price will depend on your local economical situation. So I don't know if you are in the
so it'll be regional pricing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so
that's
this
good.
is the base price. So if you see other games that have the same, that are $40 and are localized in terms of price, expect something around what they do. The supporter edition. So we will have a supporter edition that will be 70 euros. It will have exclusive skins, exclusive title, an exclusive access to the playtest environment. So as we are doing now, we are doing playtests with the community to get the more feedback possible from the community. But when we will launch the game, this is something that we want to keep for people that are more, let's say, invested in the game. And we will have also skins. So just one note, the supporter edition will not contain any advantage from other players. so it will not have more money at the beginning or more stuff. More gear. It will not contain things like this. It will just purely be cosmetics.
Okay.
And there will be skins in the game that you will be able to buy. There will be skins you will be able to get for free, like by playing the game. But there will be cosmetics. We think this is the best solution for both worlds, basically. If you want to get a skin to feel a bit tactical or cooler on the battlefield, you got the option. If you don't want to, it's not a big deal because it's not
Mandatory.
it's not mandatory and it's not an advantage.
And do you plan on keeping the skin kind of stuff more on like the military appropriate side of things?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna stay immersive. Like there's not gonna be like a Hello Kitty gun skin or something.
No.
Okay.
There is never. You will never.
I mean, that'd be cool, I guess, but.
No.
All
I think
right.
I'm in love with the Ubisoft team who is doing Rainbow Six Siege. I know them very well.
Mhm.
Like I'm playing to Rainbow Six. I have 20k hours on Rainbow Six Siege.
Wow, okay.
Professional player on it.
I have
maybe-
0 on R6, so
Shame on you, but I love lots of pets. And I hate what they have done on the artistical direction. Same for Call of Duty. I hate this trend of gaming, this Fortnite trend to make fun skin. For me, it's throwing me out of the universe. So there will be not fun skins. It's not all military skins,
Okay.
but this will always be low-grounded. Okay, it doesn't.
it'll still say like military appropriate. It'll be on that side of the fence.
So we are not a milsim. This
Right.
is something. So we have our character artist Mooney is doing something like a bit Resident Evil did with the skin. It's
Okay.
like cool, tactical skin, but
Okay.
it's not like realistic skin. It's much more like you see a contractor who is very cool outfit. You know, it's
Okay.
something we try to have.
Okay.
You can be geared a bit like Stalker. We have just one thing for the monetization of the game. So we have also DLC. Will be I don't know if you mentioned it, but we will have paid DLC. And
Okay.
now we will just to explain why we are doing this. Why there is cosmetic? Why the game is premium? And why there is DLC? Why this is all of this and not a free to play? Firstly, people know there is server who is costly insanely high, but we also when you are doing the early access, we need to found the following of the game. So of course, and we want also to build other game after this. So we need to secure some funds. So this is basically the whole thing. We say also 40 euros for the price of the game. Region buys it. But one thing we actually study, not intensively, but if we don't achieve to have enough content for the release, we'll maybe lower a bit the price.
That makes
for us,
sense.
the idea in mind is if you play to the game, if you buy it, you need to have a price for 40 euros. It's like something like 100 hours and 50 hours approximately of gameplay for the player for the majority of players.
Mhm.
If we achieve to do this for 40 euros, for me, this is a fair price. If we are below this amount of hours, then we need to lower it, you know.
Sure.
It's not a perfect equation, but it's something I try to stick it. Like, it need to be fair. So we try to practice fair price, but here we go. And we will never deviate from it. We'll never go for pay to win. This is a promise, the counter promise of it. We'll never go to pay to win. We will not drop the project until we have the funds to make it. We will continue to make it and to finish it. This is also a promise. You can clip it, guys, and keep it for later. I guarantee you this.
We will never go pay to win. All right. Well, that's good. That's good.
This is I'm a gamer too, and so I understand gamer concern. We are not so much interested into the money of the project, but we need to live, of course, and we need to fund the project. And this is the idea. But the main meaning of Deep Worlds is to, and I say try, because there is obviously something we're gonna fail, but we try to make good and new game experiences. We don't try to make the super AAA title who will reverse all the industries. We just try to propose something new every time. And so we will keep doing it. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah, I think that's great. There's a lot of people, especially that look at, Tarkov and the different game packages even though it's not directly pay to win, it's still some amount of advantage with the extra storage space and, the Gamma container and all those other things. So if people can get, just additional cosmetics for like the larger game package, and there isn't any inherent like built-in advantage to any of that, I think it'll be received really well. I really do.
Yeah.
So Well, thank you guys for taking the time. It's been about an hour. I wanted to not keep you any more than an hour. So what I'll do is for the YouTube side of things, for this, because it's all being recorded. So I'm gonna have Saint upload this in its entirety, and then what I typically do is a summary just to kind of like recap all the key points. And what I'll do is I'll put some of the game trailer and stuff from things that you've already released, just so that people can see what the game looks like on the recorded version of this, just so that they can get an idea of what the gameplay and the game loop looks like. And then if people want to see like more of it, they can go watch videos that like Operator Drewski did like a while back, and a bunch of other YouTubers that got a chance to play it. And then hopefully at some point in the next like week or two, I'll be able to hop in with one of the playtest runs and maybe get a recording of that and put it up for everybody so that they can see what it looks like nowadays.
I hope it will like. Something we can precise also, there is zero NDA on the playtest we did.
Yeah.
And we never paid any content creators. We have getting some critics about it. No, it's not true.
Even though there is a check in game with my name on it.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, this is that kind of thing. And one thing, content creators, we don't give any direction to content creators. I think you can vouch it.
I can vouch for that. Yep.
Like we can, even if a content creator is not happy from the game, as long as it doesn't offense the studio, like saying Iris is a dipshit, like it's not okay. But you can criticize the game. We'll never close the access to the playtest, something like this. So we'll let a total liberty. But we encourage to make critics. Blah, blah, blah. I don't have the word. My French, sorry.
Yeah.
Critics, but constructive.
Yeah, constructive criticism. Yeah.
Yes, and we don't listen only content creators. We listen also. We talk a lot with the community individually. So if you want to go to the Discord, if you have any question, if you have any suggestion, be sure we read it. We interact with people. Like myself, I do it, and all the team is doing it. So
yeah, I can vouch for that too. There's a lot of people in the Discord and in the Beautiful Light Reddit even that got started. I don't even know how long ago, where people have said that you guys are very interactive with responding to people, like even in just general chat. So, yeah. So somebody made like a Beautiful Light like subreddit somewhere. It doesn't have that many posts. It's it's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that old. But it's not super active. Yeah. But people had been posting saying that you guys were very receptive and responsive, so it's good.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Oh yeah, and Saint said that he played, because Saint was one of the guys that played with me when we did that one playtest run, and he absolutely loved it. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I'm sure we'll do another follow up as things get closer to early access release, and we'll talk about what's changed and what's new. And but yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you in the chat. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, there you go, chat. There you go. Oh yeah, so we got. Oh, and I got some images that Matt shared. So so the anomalies have a progression tree. Here, let me. All right, so the anomalies have a progression tree. It looks like this. So you have you have a bunch of skills that you can level. Obviously, these are like placeholders and stuff, and we don't know exactly what it's looking like, but this is the Juggernaut, and then you can see how it kind of evolves. So you can tell at what level, level 3, level 8, level 10, right? You can see how the skins change, and it becomes like more badass looking over time, where they're like hunting you down. And then there was another one, and then so skin ideas. Let's see. So there's some skins. Oh, dude, I like the hood. That looks pretty sweet. I like this guy too. They're like Extreme Boogaloo. So there's some skin ideas that they've got built up. Yeah, dude, that looks badass. Like they got some good stuff cooking. It looks pretty sweet. So there you go. So yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Let me I gotta switch this. Flip horizontal. Boop. There. So yeah, pretty cool. But the game's in early development, pre-alpha. They're looking at doing a play test soon. TM. I think they're gonna have an announcement at some point in I don't know, the next week or two maybe. Something like that. Looks pretty sweet. I'm kind of stoked for it, man. I think it's gonna be cool. 3D modeler needs a raise. The LOD is insane. Yeah, dude. That was wild, dude. If it looks that good, like animated running around in game as like rigged character models, that's gonna be nuts. But I know that we didn't have any visuals like for the interview because we just didn't really have that stuff set up. But for what I have seen from the in-game playtest footage that they put out, it looks like really good. Like they are definitely putting because I think it's Unreal 5. I think they're putting the engine through its paces for sure. It looks amazing. But hey, what up, Lindsay Shields? How are you? I think it's Unreal 5. I'm pretty sure it's Unreal. Anyway, yeah, I gotta scoot, fellas.